All right, let's try that again. What's up, everyone? I'll run through the what's ups quick. Jacob J's, Noah in the building, channel member, appreciate you, brother. Scout, Yugi, Mr. Dones in the house. Mr. Dones, it was a great night last night. That Knicks game was a great game. I'm so glad they won. Element, Lost Tech, Hoosiers, Panic Bomb, Chi Chi. Remember Chi Chi's, the restaurant? They had really good salsa. Ziggy, Lando. What's going on, people? How's everything going? I'm trying to win an 80s car right now. So I bought the glasses, I bought the chain to go along with it. But the glasses actually help because these lights, man, they fuck with my eyes so much. Bro, that shit with KD was nuts. Like, how are you gonna sit there and be like, how do you expect me to win? Look at, I got Nick Claxton as my starter. Royce O'Neal. It's like, whoa, dude. What are you doing? What are you doing? Bro, Chi-Chi's was so good. That salsa that came with the chips. Mwah. Mwah. I think they still sell the salsa in grocery stores, though. I'm pretty sure I've purchased some Chi-Chi's salsa before. Yeah, they do. But it's not the same. You ever notice that whenever you go to a Mexican restaurant, like the salsa is always substantially different than what you get at the store? Thank you, Medallion. I have aged, all the stress. That's next, Hoosiers. That's next. I did watch Chappelle on SNL. Well, the thing about Kyrie is, he's very talented, but he's very outspoken. And in the NBA and in really in life in general, there are certain things you could be outspoken about, and then there's certain things you can't be outspoken about. Whether you feel it's right or wrong, you know, you're gonna become a villain. Yeah, fuck preservatives. Are we giving up on Julius Randle? The thing about Julius Randle is, if he played like he played last night, every night, nobody would give him shit. The problem is, his offense is always there. It's his defense. Like, sometimes you're watching him on the defensive end and you're like, is this man checked into the game? Like, what is he doing? But like, diving on the floor and stuff, like, Knicks fans haven't seen that in years from that man. I don't know what they ate at that. Maybe they ate some Chi-Chi's at that team meeting, because that shit was awesome. Medallion, it's so funny because, like, to me, it was just another moment on the show. You know, Click was just like, hey, can I talk about this? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then, like, within the past, you know, yesterday, everything just went crazy and all these people were making videos on it. Like, every 5 minutes, somebody was sending me another video and, you know, website articles and stuff. And I'm like, awesome. You know, that's cool. Like, publicity's good. This channel gained a couple hundred new subs. But, I mean, the thing of it was, is I didn't think anything of it. And then I see all these people essentially making money off my story with their videos. And I'm like, oh, hold on a second, boys. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's like, oh, I got to get my piece of the pie. Yeah, like, I didn't think anything of it, man. I just thought another day, but for whatever reason, and the most bizarre thing is that people were listening to all of my other bullshit before that. So I'm like, well, I need to talk about it now. What up, D-Boar? Yeah, the questions about Batman are so weird because it's like everyone loves Batman. Every kid loves Batman. No matter your age, your race, your social upbringing, you love Batman because Batman is fucking cool. Oh, of course. And a lot of people did do that, and I understand that. But for me, you know, they wanted to push whatever political agenda they have. That's cool, man. Do you? I'll still leave a comment on your video, you know, letting people know, you know, appreciate the coverage, but Yeah, like I just thought it was stupid. To me, it's a stupid question, and it's not, especially considering this was like the first question that they asked. Like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? Like, what does this have? There's been variants of Batman too, of like other variants, like when you get into the comics and stuff, and Batman has literally like done stuff for like different marginalized groups and stuff within the comics, and it's just like, bro, y'all are fucking weirdos, man. Weirdos. It's just like the fucking Kotaku shit. Whenever Spider-Man drops, it's like, bro, Spider-Man is not a real person unless you go to Harlem and you see the Harlem Spider-Man with the Knicks hat and the do-rag on, the bottle of Henny, and the Timbs. That's a real Spider-Man. I don't get it. I don't get it. And the thing about the Kotaku shit is, you know, it's some corny ass douchebag white person writing it, and I want to be like, so wait, you're dehumanizing Miles Morales because his father was a police officer for the NYPD, and you know he's trying to clean up New York City, but they won't have that conversation. They won't have that conversation because it goes against their fucking shit. I love the 60s Batman, unironically. The movie is fucking fantastic, but even the show was really good. I remember watching it a ton as a kid, and like it's on Amazon through some streaming service. You got to watch some ads on it, but it's totally worth it, man. Like those, because they were such good shows, because they were like 2-parter episodes, so it was like, oh, you got a little mystery here. And you had, you know, Burgess Meredith on there, Cesar Romero, Julie Nymar. Was Julie Nymar the one in the movie or in the show? They were both hot. They were both hot as shit. You had Mr. Freeze. You had all the fucking characters. It was just very campy, but I could still definitely appreciate that Batman. Definitely. He skirts the law, though. That bastard. Skirting the law, Batman. Skirting the law. What up, Dank Meme Center? Because, you know, Blade and Spawn, you know, they didn't skirt the law. Especially Blade. How much money is in my bank account? Never enough, sir. Never enough. God of War is really good. I have taken a bit of a break today from it. I haven't finished it yet. I've only probably put probably close to 10 hours into it. I took a break today because I'm working on a sponsored gameplay video for the main channel, but I'm enjoying it. I mean, it definitely feels like a Sony game. The exploration is kind of minimal, which is, you know, that's fine. Not every game needs to be open world, but I feel almost trapped sometimes in the areas, and I don't really care for the jumping mechanic. What's today's scandal? We got to go after someone. And I did that video purposefully, of course. And if you watch till the very end, you can see I talk about Switchforce, because Switchforce made that video yesterday about my thoughts on the whole Switch analysis, and he hit me up. Like, he hit me up in the DMs. He's like, hey, I'm making this, you know, nothing personal. I was like, dude, if it's video games, I don't care if you completely disagree with me. That means nothing to me. That's good. I like that. I like when people are talking about a subject that maybe I brought up. Manny, hey RGT, I'm the one who asked the question that started the whole thing. Just wanted to know your favorite Batman episode. My bad. No, Manny, you are a legend, because bringing that up, you know, it took off, and that's awesome, man. That's awesome. People are, for whatever reason, people are listening to the fucking after show like it means something. Like, the whole point of that show is just to humanize the people you see. And yeah, we humanize them pretty good. What up, YZ? What up, Ram? Am I a fan of the chunk? I am. Michael, so I have the Thrustmaster 248 for my Xbox. Maybe this weekend. If not this weekend, it'll be next weekend, because obviously with Thanksgiving and stuff, I want to stockpile some videos. Appreciate you, Ainu Yugi. And I mean, that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. You know, people, as long as you keep it gaming, like, I don't care if you completely disagree with me. I don't care. You know, once you start getting into like people's personal stuff, okay, then you're kind of crossing borders there. But if we're just talking strictly gaming stuff, say whatever about me. I don't care. Say whatever you want about how I look or whatever. That's fine. Patrick Courtney, am I messing with the new Nas album? I've heard very good things. I haven't gotten around to listening to it yet though, but I might check that out tonight actually, because I enjoy Nas. Really, one of my favorite Nas albums is a one that most people hate, and it's not Nostradamus, although I do like Nostradamus. I think Stillmatic, from front to back, is a super good album that still holds up very well. Like, the storytelling on it was really good. What's up, Richard? What's up, Chris? Noah, my favorite Thanksgiving food is stuffing. I absolutely love stuffing. Like, you get some stuffing, you get some turkey with the gravy on it, and then you get the stuffing on the side, and then you pour the gravy on the side. Oh, man. Death Roach, because we all were burned. You can see my jersey. It's right, oh, other hand. It's right there. But we were all burned by Mario Strikers. Still, dude, when Stillmatic first came out, a lot of people did not like that album. And I remember I had just come up from North Carolina to see family in Connecticut. And I spent a day in New York City. And I picked up a bootleg copy of Stillmatic when I was in the city. I was like 13. Hell yeah, I love stuffing. Cheesecake, Oreo cheesecake is fucking... like Cheesecake Factory Oreo cheesecake. And I don't know when the Cheesecake Factory became a low tier restaurant, but I specifically remember in my early 20s making a voyage with this girl that I was dating an hour to the local mall that had a Cheesecake Factory because we wanted to eat at the Cheesecake Factory. The Cheesecake Factory is not a bottom tier restaurant, all right? That's a quality meal. Real cranberries or canned, I don't fuck with cranberries. I will drink, now cranberry juice, I will drink that like I have a UTI. I love cranberry juice, but when it comes to like the cranberries and the slices, the gelatin slices, like, get those away from me. Misclick generates the clicks. You're not wrong. And the best part is when all those other channels were having to show video clips of the videos, I'm just sitting there like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. See, that's why they should have fucking, if they were smart, they all would have been on camera. Then they would have gotten some clout. Would I drink a whole gravy boat for $20? Is it a boot or a boat? Appreciate you, Lydia. It helps with the fucking light. The lights have been, I've been staring. Okay, so I'm trying to buy a car, right? Or I'm trying to win an auction right now for a car on Bring a Trailer. And in my mind, I'm like, if I don't have the screen up all the time of the bidding, I'm gonna miss out on it. Even though the auction doesn't end till tomorrow till like 5:55 p.m. my time. Like, I'm just obsessed with it. And I'm always looking, does somebody else bid? Does somebody outbid me? I will kill you if you outbid me. So I've just been staring. More so than usual, I've been staring at screens. Grease in the building. Banana cheesecake. I can't mess with cheesecake. No, not a Tesla. Not a Tesla. It is a Mercedes, and it's a rare Mercedes, but everyone is sleeping on it. Okay, so this car went up for sale in October on Bring a Trailer, and I'm like, fuck. This thing is going to be way out of my price range. There's no way it's going to go for a reasonable price. I'm going to sit this one out. The car ends up selling for a fuck of a lot less than I thought it was going to. So now I'm like kicking myself over this. I'm like, fuck, man, I could have gotten that as like a Christmas gift to me. I could have made money back, you know, making videos about it, talking about the history of it and all this stuff. And then the guy never paid, because the problem is the seller is in California and the car can't pass California emissions, but it's fine in all other states. My state, if a car is 20 years old or older, doesn't have to get emissions or anything like that. You get an antique plate for it, I think it's called. So the person who bought it was in California, and then they're like, oh, well, I can't do anything with this, so they never paid. So the guy relisted it, and I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you. I am winning this motherfucker this time. Bro, that Ken Griffey whip is 85 grand. I'm not fucking touching that shit. Cristobal, love all the controversy, especially between you and your stepsister Click. You can't cancel Batman. Looking forward to this Saturday as usual. It should be a good time this Saturday, man. It should be a good time. No, it'll not be a Pinto. The controversy is G4 doesn't like Batman, and they wanted to get rid of him. And the thing about emissions testing is, I'm trying not to go too deep into, you know, I guess this isn't really political. It's kind of socio-political, I guess. The thing about emissions tests is, don't you think if the concern for emissions tests was really polluting the environment, don't you think the older cars that wouldn't pass an emissions test would be the ones that would have to get an emissions test? I'm just saying, you know, California, they want to go all electric car. But I watched that goddamn 49ers game this past week, and they had the fucking jet planes flying over the stadium for the national anthem. Now, how much fuel does it take for a jet plane to fly over? I'm just saying. I am just saying. It's a 1989. I'll put up a picture of it. Maybe. I don't know how this is gonna work, because I always forget which settings I have. I don't really like that picture. What's up, Brandon? What's up, Julio? Get away from me, electric. I'll take a hybrid. Hybrids are fine. Hybrids are fine. I need the peace of mind that knows that if for whatever reason something goes wrong with the electric, I can at least get to a gas station. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Michael, 100%. That's a conversation nobody wants to have. And it's like nuclear energy and shit. And it's like, I thought we're trying to move. It's crazy to me. Jimmy the Zombie, welcome to the RGT Army. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. All of your support. All of you guys are supportive. Just watching helps the channel. Yeah, California is a fucking wild place. All right, let's zoom in. Oh. All right. So browser source. Let me see if this is up behind me. Nope. Okay, so we got the main screen up behind me. So now what's up behind me? Same thing. All right, we're striking out, but we're gonna be okay, because I believe one of these. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work, boys. Let me turn myself off here. So here's the car in question. A 1989 190E, but if you see, there's a little signature on there. It's a very, very rare car that for whatever reason, nobody wants it, and I want it. So I'm going to win this. The BBS wheels on it, authentic BBS wheels. I've always wanted a 190E. I've always wanted a 190E. Really, I wanted the Cosworth, the Evo 2, but that goes for like 200 grand. Way out of my price range. I honestly thought this was going to sell for probably 30,000 at least, but it sold for less than half that. And then the guy never paid. And I'm like, you know, it wouldn't be my main car or anything like that, but just like, you know, it has a story. And because it has a story, well, no, because it just uses mostly, just stock 190E parts. It's a Tommy Kaira edition. Now, Tommy Kaira is a JDM Japanese company, but for whatever reason, when they first started off, they modified some 190Es and 300Es for Mercedes, and then of course they moved to the Nissans, which is where they got their name. You know, that's where they blew up. Everyone wanted, you know, Tommy Kaira shit in the 90s and early 2000s. I fell in love with Tommy Kaira from Gran Turismo 2 because you would get that Tommy Kaira ZZ in the game at a very early stage of the game, and you could win a ton of races. So I always thought they were a fascinating company. The fact that it's a JDM Japanese company that did stuff for, they did some exhaust changes on it, they did some minor engine changes on it, and they did suspension changes on it to make it, you know, more of a pseudo track car. Like, this story of it is super fascinating. So what makes it even more interesting is they only made 12 or 14 of these, and there's only one in the United States, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna buy this shit. I'm gonna wear these glasses. I'm gonna wear my gold chain with an open button shirt with a chest hair sticking out, and I'm gonna listen to the Scarface soundtrack as I cruise through the night streets. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. I have to have it. Oh God, console fanboy. Oh God. Console fanboy, you better have behaved, buddy. Nah, console fanboy is funny. I'll do it tonight, but let me read it first. Make sure you don't get too off the rails. You could be a little crazy. Oh yeah. That's easy peasy. I'm a wrestling fan. Console Fanboy does have a YouTube page. It's Console Fanboy. What are my cameo fees? Hot take. Word on the street is there's going to be a Black Friday sale. I think it's $15, but like you can get discounts because most of the time it's not $15. Oh, I love the night. Okay, so Toxic Bot, the 944. There used to be a 944 that was for sale back when I was like super broke boy, and it was on. So when you pulled out of my apartment complex, there was a vintage clothing store that was right outside. Like, here's the road, you pull out onto the main road, and the store was right here, and my apartment was right here. They had a 944. It was a 86 for $5,000, and at that time, like, that would have taken me like months to save up for, because I was fucking pretty much poverty, and I wanted that thing so bad. It was a stick shift, and I didn't know how to drive a stick shift, but I was so determined to buy that car that my buddy who I lived with at the time, his dad had an Isuzu Rodeo with a manual, and he was like, all right, we're gonna learn how to drive this thing. I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna buy this car, and it's gonna be super cool. And then I learned how to drive a stick, and then the car sold, and I never got it. Michael Mashed Potato, welcome to the RGT squad. Appreciate you, broski. Appreciate all the support. Manny, what do I think about the War Games, now part of the Survivor Series pay-per-view? It's interesting, but I think Shawn Michaels, I'm not sold on the idea that he has for this fucking weird-ass cage thing. It's way too mid or early 2010s TNA for me. It sounds like a King of the Mountain match almost, so it's kind of crazy. I have a student whose mom's boyfriend works for AEW supposedly. I'll look more into it. I'll keep you posted. Yeah, let me know, because I might know him. You'll be surprised how many AEW people like watch the channel. It's so weird to me. I'm gonna see Truman. I could actually make money talking about this car just because it's rare, and like it was only really discovered back in the early 2010s when somebody imported it from Japan, and then like I'm hardly ever gonna drive this thing. Like it'll be driven probably once a week, if that. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't even drive my normal car, like, all that much. I bought that car with 28,000 miles on it back in March of this year. I have 29 and change on it now. Maybe 29.3 on it. Like, I really don't go many places. So, like, it only has 60,000 miles on it too, which is like 100,000 kilometers because it's all in kilometers. That'll be kind of fun though. Is FIFA 23 worth $17 on Black Friday? I mean, if you don't have any of the other FIFAs, I would say yes. Like, that's, you know, it's a new video game for $17. It's not a bad deal. If you do have the other FIFAs, probably not, because it's just the same game. My birthday is in July. Thank you, Artara. Tax write-off, make a video. You can't get away with cars. I've asked. You can't get away with cars. But I figure I can recoup some of the money because it's also in California. So I've already gotten a quote for how much it's going to take to be transported from Cali to the East Coast. And it's a spicy meatball, but I have a number in mind. And if I can get it for what it sold for originally or a little bit less, then that goes under, there's a dollar amount that I don't want to go over for the price of the car and the shipping of it. So I will get it in closed transport though. I was thinking of open air, but I was kind of like, you know, it's winter. I don't trust that because I got to get like a car cover for it and stuff. Yeah, dude, that's a summertime car. And the thing of it is this car is, the reason I feel, and I could be completely wrong on this, but the reason I feel it's so cheap is because not a lot of people know about it. Not a lot of people know the history about it. You know, it's only been talked about on a few blog posts and like very deep Mercedes communities. There's zero videos about it on YouTube. So not a lot of people know about it. If I make a video and that video picks up in the car community about this car, I just increase the value of the car. Not that I'm going to get rid of it, but you know, if something ever happened or somebody made an offer I couldn't refuse or something, you know, it's you gotta. Oh no, Def Roach. This is all 80s music in this car. It's an 89. We're listening to Whitney Houston in her prime, Madonna. We're listening to the Scarface soundtrack, Rush Rush, Get the Yayo. Like this car has a motif already. Hey, Robert. Go big or go home, baby. I'm such a cheap ass though. Like, I save all my money. Like, I'm cheap. So once that, okay, let me explain. Hey, if they could put down the fucking you gotta put a deposit down. Let me explain here. So one reason that I'm able to do something like this isn't because, you know, I have a stupid amount of money or anything. Let's talk about vacations. I have not taken a vacation as in actually gone to a destination, stayed at a hotel, traveled, and then did expenses there. I can't tell you the last time I went on a vacation. It's been that long. And I remember my aunt at my birthday dinner at my grandma's house was like, oh, so you're going to take a vacation? You're going to go somewhere nice? I'm like, no. She's like, why not? You got to celebrate. And I'm like, if I had a wife and a kid or something, or I had a girlfriend that I was serious with, that we could go somewhere, you know, experience something, okay, that's different. I'm a single guy. Why am I going to go anywhere and do anything by myself, some exotic trip that's going to cost me a couple grand when I could just put that money aside, and if something really cool comes along, then I can fucking buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no desire to go to Disney World by myself or something like that, you know, or go to the Bahamas by myself. I could probably have a good time, but I'll have a better time with this. I should do a new game room tour like the old days. So with the that's true, Jay's vlog. Black Bond's always doing that. If you're familiar with Black Bond from the Weapon Wheel podcast, he's always going on these weird like Martha's Vineyard shit. And I'm just like, ugh. Yeah, like shit's so expensive. So there is a closet right over there that right now is just storage for some empty boxes from when I moved in a year ago, and I just never got around to taking them outside because there's a lot of them. what I want to do is I want to get that room finished and put some lighting in there, put some shelving in there, and have that for all my boxed consoles. Because people are wondering, like, why I've been buying boxed consoles. I made a video about a few of them, but, like, I got a boxed NES, I've got a boxed Genesis, I've got a boxed Saturn, I've got a bunch of boxed Game Boy variants. I have a lot of boxed systems right now, and that's because I want to make that a boxed system room, because I think that would be really cool. Yeah, that's true, Black Metal Gamer. I mean, but something like that, that's not going to break the bank. You know, I don't have to worry about, you know, this, that, and the other, you know, a $500 a night hotel or some shit like that. Like, that's not going to break the bank. If you're actually going somewhere substantial, you want to go out. Like, that's like my cousin. She went to the Bahamas on like this big cruise, this, that, and the other, plane tickets and all this shit. I'm like, how much did that shit cost you? She's like, oh, it was about $5,000 because she has kids too. I'm like, $5,000? $5,000? You can put that towards a car, woman. She's always bitching about her car. That's smart, YZ, though. That's smart. I am doing my part to pump up the Switch sales. I am doing my part, and I'll continue to do my part. Hopefully, I'm assuming over the weekend that Walmart ad will drop, and the Target ad will drop too, and then Best Buy as well. I hope they come better. Because, I mean, there are some games. I'm actually playing a game for a sponsored video right now that it came out. I kind of talked shit about it because it was in a bad state when it came out. And then over time, it's evidently become amazing. And I was like, all right, whatever. I'm not going to it because I don't care. But then they came knocking on my door and they were like, hey, would you like to check out this game on the Switch? I was like, maybe. And they're like, we will give you some currency. And I was like, well, my good sir or madame, you have just bumped up in my rotation of games to play now. And I've been playing it for about 5 hours. And honestly, I'm enjoying it way more than I thought I would. Way more than I thought I would. If you can guess the game, it's not Ark. It's not Ark. I've already done Ark. If you can guess the game. Ah, Panic Bomb Arcade. Panic Bomb Arcade. Smart cookie. It's seriously impressive, though. I've been really... I think I like it so much because of the exploration aspect. It's like, do what you want. And it's a super good port, too. Like, very impressive. I think it's on sale right now, too. And that's why they're doing this. Because they want to generate buzz about the sale, but... yeah, I've been pleasantly... it's one of those games where it's like they gave me a review copy, but I'll probably pick up a physical copy because it's like, okay, you know what? This shit is much bigger than Pokemon, and it runs much better than Pokemon, and it looks much better than Pokemon. How do you fuck up Pokemon in 2022? Your mainline game, your new generation? I don't know. But the good people at Hello Games figured out the Switch. Skull Vikings and Kirk Thuggins, says Scott. Bro, I had no idea that the Vikings record was what it was until I looked it up and I was like, what the fuck? What is this? JF, well, it's coming, right, Nick? I don't know what the sale is. I don't know if it starts on the 30th or if it's on sale till the 30th. Let me see. Okay, I don't think the sale has quite started yet, and they haven't told me when it's going to start, but I'll follow up because I'll want to position my video to where it is on sale or when it's about to be on sale. So I'll let y'all know, though, when it goes on sale, though. But yeah, $60. A little steep. A little steep. What up, Elements? You know the vibes. Yeah, Jimmy, it honestly feels like there's a story. It's very... there's multiple ways you could play the game. I just chose the normal way, which is kind of like a more guided story. You're trying to figure out where I am, who's this, that, or the other. But I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Like I built a base. I got my little base on a planet now, and then I gone to I was on one planet. I did the things there. I went to another planet. I built my base. Now I'm on some like Starbase thing where there's like all these other creatures that I'm trying to have a dialogue with, but I don't speak the language, so it's pretty cool. Have I seen the Famitsu charts in Japan? No, Nintendo. Oh, you mean the 100,000 the next week after? Yes, I saw that. I mentioned it in a video. Thank you, Owie, Owie, Ao. I don't know how to say it. Ava, I lost weight. I was a chunky boy who didn't shave, and I was fucking working so much that I didn't really care. I was working a full-time job while still trying to essentially make a YouTube channel full-time. This week, when did it come out? Let me look it up. Nick, how are you liking God of War so far? And can you reverse the jinx you put on my Lakers? Well, Nick, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. Oh, I'll look it up right now. I'm not quite sure I could reverse the lift or the curse because, I mean, there was a lot of back and forth here. I will release the curse halfway. Let's win some Lakers games. Let's get some dubs there. I think God of War is really, really awesome. The combat is what's sealing it for me. And I do prefer, you know, the faster paced combat of the original God of Wars, but I think this is a lot more refined. There's a lot more things you could do with the combat in this game, and it flows very, very well. It flows very, very well. And that's definitely what's been the most enjoyable for me. The story, most people love the story. It's just weird to me because, like, I don't know about y'all's relationship with your dad, but like when you were Atreus' age, where you're always like, father, what's this? It's like, no, like when I was that age, like I was trying to figure out me, you know? So I don't know. 60th birthday. Shout out to Feral Child's dad. Okay, so they went down to 50. I see it in Nintendo now. And the crazy thing is I had two dads. I had a biological dad that lived further away, and then I had a stepdad. And like I was not like that with either of them. Maybe when I was like 5, you know what I'm saying? But like you start to get friends and stuff. Shut up, Maxwell Jacob Freedom. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird to me. But the combat's good, so. Oh, Death Roach. Fucking A. My stepdad, every goddamn sport I did as a child, except for soccer, because he finally got the memo, because I made my mom tell him when I was 13 years old. He had to be an assistant coach. Now, my stepdad had actually played AA baseball. You know, he was recruited into you know, potentially being an MLB player. He played some AA baseball. So you can imagine when young RGT in 4th grade was on the Lynx, not the Bobcats, the Lynx baseball team. You can imagine how well that went. Just in the dugout, screaming his head off. And I'm like, I'm in 4th grade. I'm just trying to fucking, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing out here. Yeah, I'm going with the fire. The fire Pokemon. What position did he play? Catcher. He was a catcher. So, by default, he wanted me to be a catcher. And I was like, I don't like this. Put me in left field or in right field. I want to be an outfielder. I don't want to be a catcher. And so, I remember one game I played catcher. One game I played pitcher, too. I remember, we once got beat like 32-4 in a fucking game. No, I remember it now. We got beat 32-0. And I was the only one who got a hit. And it was a shitty hit. It was more of a fielder's error than me getting a hit. And so I got to first base and they're like, all right, Sean, you're going to steal every base. Just run. So I ran, I stole second, I stole third, and then I never got to steal home because we got 3 outs. Vilch. Who's better, 8-Ball and MJG or the Underground Kings? That's hard. Personally, I'll go 8-ball MJG. Just personally. Stromboli or Calzone? Calzone. No, I was the assistant coach's son. Like, we sucked. I don't even know that we won a game that whole season, but I just remember that game where we just got absolutely crushed. And there was, like, for whatever reason, there was no fucking mercy rule. We were like fucking, 10. How are you when you're 4th grade? 10? 10-ish? 9? I was just getting fucking pounded. And then the next year, I joined a different baseball team. I quit that before the first game because I wasn't dealing with that. Then I was like, okay, I'm gonna play basketball because I was kind of good at shooting basketball. Guess who had to be? And the thing of it was, I didn't even quit basketball because of because my stepdad was, of course, one of the assistant coaches. I quit basketball because of the head coach. The head coach was like a guy that was going through like a very bad place in his life. And I remember after our second practice, before our first game, we all met over at his house for like, he wanted to have like a luncheon or something. And the coach was like drunk as fuck. First off, he said, oh, call me coach. Call me coach. That's all anyone knew his name by. He was like drunk and he went into this whole big thing about his wife leaving him and stuff before the first fucking game at his house having some sort of luncheon thing. And I'm like, I looked over at my mom because my mom took me there. I was like, I'm quitting this team. She was like, okay, you're good. Jet fan, the Nets got the Nets fucked up when they got rid of everyone. When they had that good team, and then they had Kenny Atkinson, and then they were like, oh, well, let's just go for all-stars and build up that way. I say you got to move KD and torch the ground. Jasmine! What's going on, Jasmine? Yeah, just misclick causing fucking trouble on my channel. Women, what can you do? Just kidding. Michael Looper, another one for you. The Browning or Winds of the Plague? I love Winds of the Plague. I thoroughly enjoyed their first, Decimento Week. That song is super good. I definitely like them. If you could choose a movie to play at a super liberal college to cause panic and freakouts, what movie would you show? Kids. I would show Kids. Because Kids is more real life than anything that those people have probably ever involved in. My favorite Pokemon? That's hard. Maybe Squirtle. Just because I like in the show and he'd be like, Squirtle, Squirtle, Squirtle. I have no legs. I have no legs. I have no legs. Hey, yo, Jenny, it's Casper. Don't worry about nothing. That movie was so good. And he had fucking Frogface, Harold Hunter, which was his nickname. His nickname was Frogface. Before he passed, King of Zoo York, he beats the fucking guy's ass with the skateboard at the fucking, when they're all skating and the dude bumps into him. That movie is so good. I love that movie. It's that's life, man. That's more real life than what a lot of people realize. Kids is a great movie, dude. Yeah, Casper, he killed himself. R.I.P. Casper. Jacob, I hope whatever they're doing is just a newer, better, more beefier Switch. Anything else would be stupid in my opinion, because like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do that's so different that no other company can do? Nothing. Everyone loves what you're doing. They just want it to do it better. Like, that's basic stuff here. But for whatever reason, they won't do it. Favorite Scorsese film? Casino. I'll go with Casino. But in comment to Def Roach, you got to go Goodfellas over Casino. Yeah, the VR Labo thing was very strange. I don't think a lot of people knew what the point of that was. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. I've seen Zac Efron. Dude, looks like he ate like a bag of steroids a night for like 6 months. Holy shit, that dude blew up. Devin, I made my first video, not on my main channel, because I didn't have that channel till 2016. So it was 2014. So almost 9 years. What do I think of Kotaku? I hate them. Like, I genuinely don't like what their website is about. I'm sure there's fine people that work there, but there's also people that work there that just make up scenarios that don't exist in order to try and connect with a very low common denominator of people who just want to be mad just for the sake of being mad. And I feel like those people that are like that, I feel like it's not even about the viewpoint. Everyone's allowed their own viewpoint. That's fine. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. It doesn't affect me or my life or anything like that. But I just feel like most of those people who always go out of their way to create a situation that doesn't exist or magnify something that shouldn't be, that doesn't deserve to be magnified, that is just their improper train of thought on the situation. Those are some of the worst people in the world, because they're making up for something that they've done or they felt, and they're in a conflict within themselves. So they feel like in order to justify, in order to cleanse their soul, they have to go after things that people like. They have to go after things that nobody thought that, nobody thought, oh, we need, it's like the Spider-Man thing. I'll bring that back. I don't think anyone of any race, religion, sexual orientation played Spider-Man and was like, holy fuck, this is some bullshit that Spider-Man is helping out the NYPD, whether it's Peter Parker or Miles Morales. Nobody thought that. Nobody thought that. You know what? A lot of young black kids were fucking hyped because Miles Morales got his own game, and arguably the better of the two Spider-Man games. I like the story much better in Miles Morales than I do in the original Spider-Man. But nobody cared. Nobody cared about the fact that he was, stopping crimes or assisting the NYPD. Nobody cared about that, because you finally had Miles Morales, who was a version of Spider-Man that was kind of, a lot more under the radar than other versions of Spider-Man. Now he's thrust into the limelight. And it's like, you're mad about this? You're mad about this? You're mad that you're mad about a black superhero is what you're telling me, because he goes against some of your ideologies in a fictitious game? It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. Gamefly is good to buy games. Do I have the Steam Deck? Do you think it's weird if they go? Well, Miles Morales is coming out for Steam Deck. I think it comes out this month, maybe. For me, the story in Miles Morales was so much better, I felt. Oh, it's coming out in a couple days. It's Steam Deck verified. Well, let me see the actual date. I already 100%ed that on PS5, so I don't know if I'm going to pick that up. See, with Spider-Man, the original one... Oh, is it tomorrow? Okay. What up, Mike James? Who? Mike James. With the original one, I picked it up again on Steam Deck because of the fact that I hadn't played it in so long, and I only had the PS4 version. I never upgraded to the PS5. Good old Pokemon. I didn't get an early copy of Pokemon because Nintendo doesn't send me dick. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it. You know, I'm going to talk about it. But, some sus things. Very sus things in that. Yeah, Uncharted Collection, super good on Steam Deck. Yeah, I'll pick up. I might just preload it tonight so that way I have it in the morning. Or maybe I'll stay up. I don't know. Was the PS5 version a free upgrade? I'm gonna get Scarlet. 4 codes for the dual pack? Weird. Shamalama. RGT looking like a dollar store Backstreet Boy. All jokes aside, you're still a snack. Thank you, Shamalama. Physical RGT. I know physical, but I know. It's just easier for me, though. Really? Slick. Well, then I'm just a fucking idiot. I never realized I could get a free upgrade for it. But it's fine, because like I said, when Miles Morales came out, that's all I cared about, because it was a new experience. With, you know, with the Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man game, I'd played it more recently before Miles Morales came out. But then now it's been, you know, 2 years since Miles Morales came out, so it had been even longer since I played Spider-Man. Thank you, Blue EX. Thank you, the Sips Fad. Okay, see, I had Miles Morales. I bought that on PS5 because I already had my PS5. That was the game I really wanted. But Spider-Man 1, I wasn't going to pay for an upgrade for. Am I getting Evil West? I've heard some mixed things about Evil West. Not that it's bad, but what was said to me about it? Let me see if I can find it real quick. My favorite version of the OG Resident Evil 2 is the Dreamcast version. The Dreamcast version. Because the Dreamcast version is the superior version. Unless you hate the Dreamcast controller. Where is it? Hold on, I think I'm almost there. I'm getting close. It's fun, but it's very easy. There are takedowns that heal you, and you're immune to damage when you do them. So it's easy to always be killing huge groups of enemies. It's more of a hack and slash than a gunslinger. So take that into consideration when it comes to Evil West. Those are the words on the street. How's the cardio going? Like 2 miles a day, man. It's getting a lot easier. The thing that it boils down to is I have to have something I want to watch. So like I have to find something on YouTube that I want to watch while I do that, because it just makes it so much easier and I don't even care. Marvel's Wolverine. I mean, obviously we need to see it. Before we, you know, before we all go gaga for it, but I am very excited for it. What up, Grinning Wolf? What's going to be garbage? Wolverine? No. No. Oh yeah, I do other things besides the 2 miles. I do my crunches, push-ups. Start doing yoga too. I'm trying to get more flexible. Yes, I need that game to be M-rated. And it should be. And I'm afraid that they're going to go with the teen rating. But you remember that M-rated Wolverine game that we once got? I think it was on the 360. I forget what the subtitle of it was. That was a good game. Ballsy, Jazz, man. Ballsy. Midnight Suns hype? No. Was it Origins? Wolverine Origins? You were ripping motherfuckers and shreds in that? That was... Mwah. I don't see Sony doing that though. Or Insomniac, I should say. I kind of want to replay that. The Kama Sutra, Congress of the Cow, Congress of the Crow. I remember we used to look at the Kama Sutra book at Sam Goody when we were like in high school. Like, what the fuck is this? It's like, I'm not gonna buy this book. I can just look at it and steal some stuff from it. All right, Jasmine, hold me to it. Hold me to it. Well, what do you think will be the better game? Final Fantasy 16 or Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth? Probably 16. What up, Killer Ninja? Yoga Flame. Yoga Fire. I can't do that hot yoga shit, though. Too many people. Smelly. Wolverine used to be badass. I mean, when I was a kid, Wolverine was the fucking tits. Like, he was my favorite X-Men by far. X-Men Children of Adam. I play Wolverine. I always liked Wolverine. I'm surprised I haven't canceled Wolverine. Because unlike Batman, there's a valid reason to cancel Wolverine. He's Canadian. Fuck Canada. No, I'm just kidding. What up, Wicked Spooky? Yeah, I think Final Fantasy 16 will just be a bigger and better game. The worst Garfield game? I haven't seen many reviews for that new one, the Lasagna Party one. Let's see if it got any reviews. That looks fucking atrocious. I don't understand why they're fucking ruining Garfield. Why does it have an 8 out of 10 on Steam? Who is buying Garfield Lasagna Party for $39 or $29.99 on Steam? What is wrong with you people? Garfield solved my marriage. Oh, it's okay. So they're fake. They're fake reviews. We have Garfield is bigger than Jesus is one of the reviews. There, we'll read them together. Wrong one. So we got Garfield is bigger than Jesus. Garfield solved my marriage. The day I heard the news about the development of Garfield Lasagna Party was probably the most pleasant day I've had since the release of Garfield Kart Furious Racing. I remember calling on my friends individually about the release of this wonderful game, and I can truly say, from what I've experienced so far, this may be the greatest game of all time, even rivaling the greatness of games such as Garfield Kart and Garfield Kart Furious Karting. The game contains an orange cat that hates Mondays and loves lasagna. A perfect game for a simple man such as myself. I had to actually pull myself together after I cried from seeing the absolute beautiful face of the main character, Garfield. Thank you for making this game. It's all I've ever wanted. But at least Lucid. Shoutouts to Lucid. He kept it real. The game destroyed my friendships, but that's okay because I always have Garfield. Like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Because, like, is Garfield, like, still big? Like, back in the day, you at least had the Garfield cartoon. You know, you had Garfield and Friends. So at that time, it was like, okay, well, why aren't they making Garfield games? Then, of course, they made the excellent Garfield Caught in the Act on the Sega Genesis. Smurfs cart. I've seen a Smurfs cart. Whatever happened to The Suffering, The Ties That Bind? So The Suffering, that was a Midway published game. And I think they sold off that license when they went bankrupt. I like The Suffering. You know, it was definitely more of a, you know what The Suffering kind of felt like to me? And not necessarily in terms of gameplay, but just the game style. It almost felt like a more modern Splatterhouse, you know? Because Splatterhouse wasn't necessarily a scary game. It was just a horror game that was an action, you know, beat 'em up style game. And I felt like The Suffering felt kind of like an evolution of that. Like, I love Garfield, but let's keep it a buck. I don't know his relevance is really that high. Plus, Lorenzo Music was the voice of Garfield, so. I mean, it's, yeah, like, games like The Suffering, games like Manhunt, yeah, you can't really do those. I think Sony is going to do very well at the Game Awards, for sure. Oh, what's Xbox going to do? It's really Xbox and Nintendo. And for whatever reason, the Game Awards treats Nintendo like a child system. Look at all the family games of the year. They're all Nintendo games. What up, Dwan? I mean, personally, I still love Garfield. I'm just talking about from a large majority. Speedo, I agree. And you know what? Even though people don't like the game, I love Manhunt 2. Manhunt 2 on the Wii was fucking great because you literally were like choking people with their Wiimote and nunchuck. Like, that shit was awesome. I didn't go. Did I go and kill people with my Wiimote and nunchuck? Maybe. No, I mean, obviously I didn't. So, like, I don't get it. You can have these fucking movies that are just, you know, fucking disgusting, bizarre, violent spectacles. That's the word I was looking for. But with video games, you can't do it because it's for kids. It's like, fuck off. Fuck off with that shit. What up, the gaming Troj? Opinions on people who say expand your horizons when it comes to JRPG fans. I mean, people can say whatever they want. There are certain games that I don't like, and I'm not going to expand my horizons into them, no matter what anyone tells me. Like a very Japanese visual novel. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. You can't make me. The Warriors was fucking great. The Warriors is awesome. I wish they could do an HD version of that game. You're right, Stefan. Do I think there's a Zelda OLED Switch coming with Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom? I hope that there's some sort of hardware that comes along with that game. I think 2023 is going to be a very busy year when it comes to news and stuff. Because I'm going to keep it a buck. 2022 was not a great year. It was not a great year. You can ask any person who makes gaming news. Ask Spawnwave. Like, hey, which was a better year, 2021 or 2022 for gaming news? Guarantee you, he'll say 2021. It was just a very weird year because everything that happened, we pretty much knew was going to happen, and there wasn't really a whole hell of a lot of surprises. 2023, on the other hand, when you look at 2023, those first few months of the year are stacked. Stacked with games. Why? Just saying. Warriors, come out and play. Is Bayonetta 3 the best action game of the year? I'm assuming that it's nominated for that. Let's take a look at what else is in that category. Almost there. Where the hell is fucking action adventure? No, it's just action. Okay, so we've got Bayonetta 3. We've got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which it's not a fucking action game. It's a first-person shooter. Sifu, Neon White, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. You can make a case. I'm not familiar with Neon White. I know a lot of people love Neon White, but I'm not familiar with it. For me, it really boils down to Bayonetta 3, Sifu, and Shredder's Revenge. Personally, I would probably pick Shredder. I'd probably go Shredder's Revenge, Bayonetta 3, and then Sifu. But I also have a lot of nostalgia for Turtles. I've done the same, but do you think a beanie and sunglasses on the same level as socks and sandals? What did Nas say? Did Nas say, how can you be the king of New York wearing a beanie and sunglasses? No, I could probably find a picture of Nas. We're going to find a picture of Nas wearing a beanie and sunglasses. Nas, beanie, and sunglasses. Not Beanie Siegel. Look at that. Perfect. Pull it up. How can you be the king of New York while you're wearing socks and sandals? Zoom in. Full screen. Now, is that Nas wearing a beanie with sunglasses. So by default, beanie and sunglasses is okay. You gotta realize my justification for things in life is absolutely bizarre. And I'll use things like that to justify things in real life. Do you have any not safe for Spawncast stories in the vault that pertain to your days at GameStop? LOL, love the content, keep up the good work. I'm not gonna tell that one because that was kind of, I don't know. There wasn't really too much crazy. Okay, I got one. It's not necessarily not safe for work, but it's kind of dirty. So, I was at the store by myself, and it was around the holiday season, so it was very busy. Whoever was supposed to be in there with me had actually called out, and so I had like a line of like 4 or 5 people. There was probably 4 or 5 more people in the store, so it was very busy. Everyone's being fine. Everyone's being respectful. Everyone's being cool. Until this one dude walks in. And he like, I'm ringing someone out, and he walks up to the counter and kind of stands next to him, and I'm like, can I help you? And he's like, yeah, I need to sell these games to you. And I'm like, sure, if you just want to hop into the line, I'll be with you as soon as possible. Oh, I don't have time. And I'm like, well, I mean, there's a line of people here, you know, I'll get to them as quickly as I can. I'm the only person here right now. I apologize for the inconvenience. If you want to come back later, I can take your number, give you a call. No, I don't have time for that. I need to do this now. I'm sorry, but I need to do this now. So I'm like, okay. So I tell the line, I'm like, hey, you know, this will just take me a second. Trade-ins aren't very hard to do it. And I'm like, do you want store credit or you want cash? And he wanted cash. And I was like, okay. There's this nerdy looking white dude. He probably had like 5 or 6 games. Some stuff, it was old stuff that we couldn't even take. Like, Marvel Superheroes on the PS1, which ended up being an expensive game. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll get through this very quickly for you. So Marvel Superheroes, I must have just forgotten that it was there, and it totally didn't get traded in by him. It just slipped my mind. And there was 2 other games that he had brought in for cash, and they just slipped my mind. And then I realized it after the transaction was done. I forgot to give him cash for these games. I forgot to accept these in his trade-ins. Oh, well, I guess they'll go home with me. Bitch, don't fucking cut in the line. Smack you. What up, dark black smoke? Or black dark smoke, excuse me. Men should get not get manicures, but pedicures. I mean, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, GameStop was a fun place to work at. Just the pay sucked. And when you're young, you know, you don't care. You know, I was 20, 21 when I worked at GameStop. And I was just like, I didn't give a fuck that the money sucked. I was around video games all the time. Little thief. I mean, that was back in the day, though, when you didn't have to have any ID for trade-ins or anything like that. So, like, this is how stupid GameStop was. You didn't have to have anything, a receipt. If you wanted to return something because you bought it and it was broke, you didn't even have to have a receipt. Think about that for a second. You didn't have to have a receipt. You wanted to trade something in for cash or store credit, you didn't have to have any ID. There was nothing. So when my Nintendo DS broke, I mean, shit, I bought it from GameStop. Technically, it wasn't recently, so I'd return it and get myself a fresh one for $0. Like, they would have like, and they would put the damaged stuff, you would just throw it in a box. And then you would send it off to fucking headquarters or wherever, and they would just like burn it or something. It was the weirdest business model. Was I doing drugs back then? No, I was drinking a good bit. I wasn't doing drugs regularly, as occasionally. Bro, the fucking manager, when we had a grand opening, and there was a contest where you got, I forget what it was. It was a raffle or something. And the winner of the raffle got a $200 GameStop gift card. Guess who won that gift card? The fucking manager. And his dumbass used it in the store and got fired. Because I went to work one day. I was like, where the fuck is Billy? Because Alec was there. Who was this really... He actually lived in my apartment complex. And he was this really funny black guy who was very feminine. And I always thought, you know, oh, you know, maybe he likes the company and men. But like, he would pull all these fine women. But like going back to the manicures and stuff, he would always have like a fresh manicure. And the thing he would always say, like whenever I would say a joke or whenever he say something funny, he would, oh my god. And it was the funniest thing. Oh my god. And you gotta do the little before it. It was the funniest thing. And I went in there because Alec he helped us open the store. But he lived like 30 minutes away in another town over, and he was a manager over there. And then I came in one day, and Alec was there, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? He was like, oh my god, you didn't hear what happened to Billy, did you? And I was like, no. He's like, oh my god. And he told me what happened, and I was like, oh, word? I was like, so you work here now? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh, fucking great. Who has more muscles, John or OJ? John. Drink of choice. Alcohol, cheap beer, and cheap vodka. Oh my god. It was the funniest thing. I wish I never lost contact with Alec. He was a super cool dude. Very, very nice. I'd love to hear what got you into YouTubing. I like a little whiskey. If it's there, like I'm not very picky with my alcohol unless I'm buying it. If I go somewhere and there's just a table of alcohol, like whatever. But if I'm buying it, it's cheap. I don't drink tea. I got into YouTubing because I was writing for Nintendo Enthusiast, the website at the time, and I noticed that they had a YouTube channel, and they had what's up, Avina? And I noticed they had a YouTube channel that just random shit went up on, and it had like 1,000 subscribers, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, well, I need to get in on this. So I went to the site owner, and I was like, hey, I want in on the site. I want in on the YouTube. I want to make videos. And he was like, have you ever made videos before? I was like, nah. He's like, do you know how to make videos? I was like, nah, but I'll figure it out. And yeah, so I bought a $30 webcam that would film at 480p max. And I put a lamp in my room. And I put my futon up. And that's how I started. And then I just got, later Zelda, I got kind of, it got to a point where like that channel like grew, like, we started kind of getting big and stuff. And I kind of wanted to do something on my own and do kind of different stuff. But at that time there was other people on the channel, and the channel had kind of a vision. So the thought process was, we'll just make a side channel, because everyone else that helped on that channel also had a side channel. I was like, okay, I think it's not a bad idea. And I'm glad I did. I wish I would have done it earlier, but I'm glad I did. I don't know, maybe I don't wish I would have done it earlier, because who knows if it would have taken off like it had. My channel didn't grow until the Switch came out? I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all, because I remember when Doom came out, I had 80,000 subs, because that's when I moved and started doing YouTube full time. And there's no way I gained, 40 or 50,000 in a year. No, I love Mario Odyssey. I don't know what the hell happened to those Tomb Raider games. Lightning in a bottle. How did I become cool with Stevie Richards? I had like 35K before the Switch. Okay. I mean, that's not small, my brother in Christ. Granted, like Switch stuff, yes, obviously Switch stuff helped a lot, but I don't think that's the only reason. I don't know, maybe it is. How did I become cool with Stevie Richards? He shared one of my videos once, and I was like, wait, you fucking... I'll get to that in a second, Samurai. I'll get to that in a second. And he just shared one of my videos on Twitter one day, and I was like, "You fucking watch my shit?" And he was like, "Yeah, I like it." And I was like, "Dude, you're the fucking man." And then we just started talking and vibing off that. So the Sega centric channel beginning. Funny story. The channel was never supposed to necessarily be like retro hardware or anything like that. The channel was supposed to be for retro video game news. The Gmail account that's linked to that channel is retro gaming news at gmail.com, because at that time you had things like the retro VGS, which ended up becoming the Coleco Chameleon. You had this, that, and the other. A lot of homebrewers were popping off at that time, so I wanted to kind of be the destination for the latest news on that. Obviously that kind of dried up, so I had to position myself into different things. As far as the Sega centric stuff, honestly, I got bored with a lot of retro stuff. I just, you know, I still play retro games, but as far as like, talking about them, it's hard because I feel like, you know, what more can I add to the conversation that hasn't already been added, that somebody already hasn't talked about? You know, I still try to do retro videos once in a while, knowing that they're going to be more evergreen, but there's very few people who are able to grow on just that platform. Like Joe from GameStop, you know, Metal Jesus saw lots of success back in the early days. For a more recent channel, Sega Lord X, I think he does really good stuff, but it's just like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like for a lot of that stuff, I don't have, I don't bring anything different to the table with that stuff. It's like, do I want to see another video on fucking Sonic the Hedgehog 2? Like, I don't know. What is the best Atari Jaguar game? Alien vs. Predator with Tempest 2000 in second place. Jacob, yeah, like, I don't like to be called a Nintendo YouTuber. I understand that a lot of my audience is interested in Nintendo stuff. That's why I talk about Nintendo stuff. But all because I do that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not paying attention to and playing and very familiar with other systems. I feel like a lot of people sort of forget that. Like, if there's something I want to talk about with it, I'll talk about with it. But you do also have to look like it, or you have to look at it a bit like a business, because now it is a business. Now I can't just throw whatever I want on there. You gotta make sure that your time is being spent on something that's going to be worthwhile for your channel. I mean, my Steam Deck stuff does pretty good on the channel, so, you know, it all boils down to what people are interested in. What are people looking for right now? What are people wanting to talk about? Odyssey 2 would be the tits. Mr. Sane Caser, that's a good question. I'll probably be on the show though. What was my reaction when the Sega CD? Oh, no problem, Samurai. I'm a very, you know, I'm a very open person when it comes to stuff like that. If anyone ever asks, you know, why did you sort of do a format change or stuff like that? Like, I'll keep it real. I'm getting red. Exactly. That's what I try to do, Zio. So the Sega CD, I was blown away by it. And I remember, and this is such a weird story, but it's 100% true. My dad, my biological dad, had a niece and nephew. They were twins, a boy and a girl, named Patrick and Carrie. My stepdad had a younger brother and sister that were biological twins that were named Patrick and Carrie. I don't know how that fucking happened. I don't understand how that fucking happened. I don't understand what stars were aligned in the sky that both of my fathers had that tree of twin Patrick and Carrie brother and sisters in their life. But they did. And I remember I was hanging out with my biological dad. It was his weekend, I believe. And we went to his niece and nephew, Patrick and Carrie's house. And they were like very like poverty, but they had that government cheese. And so like their parents would buy them all new video games and stuff to keep them happy or whatever. I remember going into their room and the whole house smelled like cigarette smoke. Like, it was atrocious, which is rich coming from me, a smoker. But I remember going in there and they had this big screen TV and Patrick was sitting there and he was like, "You ever seen a Sega CD?" And I was like, no. He was like, it's brand new. Sega games on CD. You can listen to music too. Sounds good. And he had Sonic CD and he just turned up the soundtrack and was just vibing. And I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. And then he was playing the game, and when Sonic goes through that first loop where it kind of goes to a different perspective that the Sega Genesis couldn't do, I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. Keep the GameStop stories rolling. Can't get enough of them. Speaking of which, what was your best day at GameStop? Love the perspective. That's a good question. What was my best day? I would say the launch of the Xbox 360. Although it was very chaotic, it was just a very fun time. It was very, having two TVs set up side by side. One of them playing NBA 2K on the original Xbox, one of them playing NBA 2K on the 360. It was just crazy to see the difference in them. I remember there was this dude. What the fuck was his name? I don't remember his name, and I feel bad because he used to come over to my apartment sometimes too. Like my apartment was like a quarter mile away from GameStop, so like I would have like people that I met in the store that I liked, like I would have them come over and like play games and stuff. And there was this one dude. It was the funniest fucking guy. He'd be like, "Hey, yo, Sean, what's good, man?" I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "Bro, I think something wrong with my 360. I'm like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "Man, I was sitting there, right? I was playing Matten," and he called it Matten, M-A-T-E-N, Matten. And he was like, "I was playing Matten, right? And I was just looking at it, and the red lights went on, man. Red lights went on. What's the deal?" I was like, "I don't know, man. It might be fried. You might have to get it. Might have to bring it in. We'll take a look at it, see if it." But I was just playing Matten. I don't understand. I was just playing Matten, and it was playing Matten fine. But now Matten's not playing on it. Is it Matten? Can I not play Matten on it?" That was just the funniest fucking thing. He was a super cool dude though. He used to come over to my apartment all the time after work, and we would play Matten and we would play 2K. We played a lot of 2K. No, so the Sega is my stepdad. But his Patrick and Carrie, who lived in an arguably worse house, they lived in upstate New York in the Catskills, and we would go to see them. And this house was like, I don't know. Their bedroom wasn't individual bedrooms. They had a divider in the middle of one room, and one side was his and one side was hers. But goddamn, if they didn't have all the fucking video games in the world. And I'm like, we have a nicer apartment than this. Why do I not have every video game? I couldn't understand it as a kid. But Carrie had a Super Nintendo, and Patrick had an NES and a Sega Master System. I didn't know what the fuck a Sega Master System was. But he was like, "Man, this shit's tight." I like Patrick though, because Patrick was the one who introduced me to Wu-Tang, because he came to stay with us because he was my dad's younger brother, my stepdad's younger brother, and he was only like 3 or 4 years older than me. So he came to visit us in North Carolina. I was like 10 and he was like 13 or 14, and he was like, "Yo, you know Wu-Tang?" I was like, "Nah." He was like, "Man, Wu-Tang's the best. They got this song called Dog Shit." I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, it's called Dog Shit." And he had his little portable CD player, and he gave me his headphones, and that was the first time I ever heard Wu-Tang, was ODB's Dog Shit on the Wu-Tang Forever album. And I was like, "Yo, this shit's tight." But yeah, he had a Sega Master System. I remember he had Moonwalker for it. It was super cool. Catskills. Yeah, it was in the area. Yeah, it was just wild, man. Everyone had worse living conditions. Not that I had good living conditions, but like, a lot of my family and, family's family, extended family, we didn't have money, so a lot of these living conditions were bad, not like super bad, but pretty rough. And, especially the neighborhoods and shit were very rough, but everyone had better video games than me. My cousin Nicholas, his mother, my aunt, was a single mom with 3 fucking kids. I don't know what she did for money. I don't know if she worked. I don't understand anything. That motherfucker had a goddamn Sega Genesis and a Super Nintendo. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on? Because where they lived, it was one of those 3 family houses, which are pretty common in the Northeast. You have somebody lives on the first floor, which is like essentially like a pseudo apartment. And then you have the second floor, which is another pseudo apartment, and then the third floor, which is another pseudo apartment. We lived in one that was a little bit nicer than what they lived in. But I don't know who lived on the first floor. On the second floor, my biological dad and his mother lived there. And his mother, my grandmother, had an obsession with Michael Bolton, which is why I have a weird obsession with Michael Bolton, because she would always fucking play. She had fucking framed posters of Michael Bolton. And then on the third floor was Nick and his mom and his sisters. I remember she had the sketchiest fucking guys come in their house too. Fucking this one dude, Frank. He was a pizza maker at one of the local pizza places. I don't know if they ever, I think they might have gotten married, because I remember they ended up leaving that place and they got their first house, which was like out in the fucking sticks, and I went to see them like once or twice. That motherfucker's name was Frank, and he was just like when you think of a Frank, that was him. Just think of a Frank that smokes a lot of cigarettes. That was fucking Frank. Never that, Javier. Never that. I like the Prince of Persia games back in the day. The problem with the Prince of Persia games back in the day were, they made too many of them. Favorite Michael Bolton song? How can we be lovers if we can't be friends? How can we start over when the fighting never ends, baby? No. Why should I change my name? He's the ass clown. I love Office Space. I've heard Plague's Tale Requiem is very good. Very, very good. Everyone that I've talked to, Evan, Nate, that's played it, has absolutely loved it. Did I get the Wu-Tang controller? Fuck no. I'd love to get one, but I think they go for, like, a lot of fucking money nowadays. My buddy has one, and he's a reseller, but he won't sell it to me, which I find to be very bizarre. Is it me, or did females in video games used to be hotter? I don't know. You also got to remember, a lot of those female, I don't know how old you are, but when I was, growing up, we had like the chick from Toe Ball #1. You had the Mortal Kombat ladies. You had Lara Croft. I mean, we were trying to jerk off to like pixelated boobs. And I feel like, the 360 era kind of, things got better with like the boob physics and stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, I there's still attractive women. I think there's more. I think the fact, I think, and this is going to sound like a very politically correct thing for me to say, so, I'm not just a complete debauchery asshole. I think because of the rise of women playing games, that you have more variety of women in games. Because really, there wasn't a lot of women. Outside of fighting games and stuff, you didn't really have a whole lot of women characters in your games. And the ones that were there, I mean, for lack of a better term, they were essentially eye candy. But as the industry sort of grew and evolved, I think you got different types of women. I mean, really, you gotta, aside from like Mario and shit like that, a lot of men had a certain stereotype too in games, so. What was I looking up? Oh yeah, Wu-Tang PS1 controller. How much does that shit go for? I love that fucking game too. Jesus fucking Christ, this thing's expensive. There's one with free shipping for $500. There's one from free shipping in the UK for $211, and there's one for $420. So suffice to say, yeah, Def Roach, but you also had, a bigger variety of women type characters in games during that era of Wet and Lollipop Chainsaw Massacre. The BMX XXX game, that was the weirdest fuck. I remember renting that. I was like, what in the fuck is going on? And like the GameCube version had titties, but the PS2 version didn't. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm 99% sure that the GameCube edition had titties, like nipples, and the PS2 version did not. What up, Retro Rodriguez? Cammy's got those fucking thighs, bro. Hottest video? I think I made a video on that once. There's a lot of weird videos on my fucking channel, man. From back in the day when I was just like, I don't know. I had no goal in mind. I was just making videos whatever I wanted. Yeah. You know what? Let's watch that together. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. There it is! Top 5 video game crushes.
I have a challenge for all of you. Go to every computer in your house, your mom's, your dad's, your
Hold on. So let's see. Let's see if this is still applicable. We're not installing Honey. All right, let's crank this up. Duh. Chunky boy. Look at that face. Ugh, looking rough. I love Sega Lord X. He's a super good dude. All right, let's watch this together. These are my top 5 video game crushes.
Page, I have a cool reward where you could basically pick a video that I have to do. You give me a topic and I make a video on it. Yes, I have a Patreon. If you didn't know,
Look at me shilling.
And
good boy.
Originally, I answered this in a Patreon Q&A. Top 5 female video game crushes of RGT85.
Oh.
So my number 5 pick is going to be not really set the precedent for this list because it's sort of an oddball pick. I highly doubt this character is on anyone else's list, but like I said, I'm doing it from specific games and specific time frames in my life. And 12-year-old RGT rented a game called Tobal Number 1 and fell in love with one of the characters. And looking back on it, she looks a lot like Dog the Bounty Hunter's wife. And it's a really weird crush, but I guess I don't know what it was about her, but like still to this day, like I still think she's hot. And that is Mary from Tobal Number 1. I know nothing about the character. I can't remember anything about her backstory. I just remember like I was obsessed with her. Like I thought she was so hot. And I guess like that was like my introduction to like thicker women and stuff. And she just had these huge massive boobs and this, you know, blonde hair that was like a mullet. And she's not really that attractive to look at now, but like when I was 12, dude, like that was it for me. Like I thought she was so hot, and I just thought she was the greatest thing ever. So I'm sorry I can't really give you much backstory on the character, and this isn't one of those, you know, women empowerment sort of characters. But Mary, Tobal Number 1, definitely my number 5 pick. Coming in at number 4 is Chun-Li from, pick a Street Fighter 2.
Okay.
Basically, I was introduced to the character Chun-Li when I first played Street Fighter 2. I was probably 8 or 9, and my dad my biological dad came to visit us down here down in the south, and he was staying at a hotel, and that hotel had an arcade cabinet, and I want to say it was Super Street Fighter 2 that was there. I could be wrong.
It was Street Fighter 2 Champion
That was
Edition.
when I was introduced to Chun-Li, and I really gravitated towards the character because I really liked playing as her. You know, she has awesome moves, a really solid move set. She's kind of that combination. She's like a Ryu character, but a little bit faster, and I really like, you know, her moves and her combos and whatnot. And, you know, she was very attractive as well. You know, you know, as a white kid, you know, 9, 10 years old, I wasn't really exposed to that many Asian women, but that's sort of when I realized, I was like, yo, I like Asian women. And yeah, you know, really cool character too, you know, tough, badass, you ain't messing with her. And I really sort of, you know, grew that crush more on on Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition on the Sega Genesis.
There we
go.
go.
The version
Got it
I
right.
had as I was a Genesis kid. And Chun-Li, just a great character to play as. And,
I love
you
Asian
know,
women.
a very attractive female. Number 3 is also going to be a bit of a throwback. I think if you were, you know, a young teenager, you know, late 10, you know, early 13, this was on your list. She was the awesomeness. She was hot.
It's gotta be Lara Croft.
Great. Lara Croft.
There we go.
Lara Croft, 1996, I guess, on the Sega Saturn. That was the version I had, so I must have been 11 or 12 at the time. And wow. I just loved her character, you know. Obviously, the first thing everyone noticed was the sexualization of her. You know, she was a highly sexual character back in the day. Like, that was almost, you know, it's kind of interesting when you think about it because there wasn't that many, you know, strong female characters in games. You obviously had Samus, who we're going to talk about, obviously, in a little bit. But besides that, there wasn't, you know, a heroine that was a strong female character. And besides being, you know, attractive and busty and all that, she was legit, like, you know, dual wielding guns and taking out, you know, animals and bad guys and stuff in that sort of Indiana Jones style game. She was definitely legit. And, you know, it's kind of a shame how the series basically was based on her sexual, you know, her sexualness for a while. I'm glad they've sort of changed that. But when I was a kid, dude, like that was the tops for me. You know, she was the best. She was awesome.
I don't think Tifa's on my list. I guess Samus is on there, but I don't
So,
know who else
Lara
is on
Croft,
there.
circa the original Tomb Raider, definitely my number 3 pick. Number two. I actually bounced back and forth between number 2 and number 1 a lot. That sounded really immature, but it was kind of hard for me to pick. And I ended up going with Samus as number 2, Metroid Other M. And that may be an interesting, you know, decision.
It's my stepsister, Miss Click.
Obviously, Metroid Other M was met with a bit of, you know, indifference when it comes to
At that
critical
time, I wasn't a
reception. Some
fan
people
of
loved the
Final
game.
Fantasy
Some people
VII.
not so much. But I really liked that game and the representation of Samus.
Who the fuck is
because
number
it
1?
Humanized her. You know, all of the games that we had played previously, the original Metroid, when you found out that you were playing as a female character, Super Metroid, the Metroid Prime series, there was never really anything to humanize her. You know, you knew she was a human, you knew a little bit about her backstory, but there wasn't anything beyond that. You know, it really just came down to people's fan fiction to sort of more humanize and give this character emotions and whatnot. And Metroid
Regina
Other
from
M
Dino Crisis?
brought about those emotions and brought about, you know, her as a person. Whether you agree or disagree with the direction that Tecmo took her in, you can't say that it wasn't a great character. You can't say that it wasn't someone you could feel, you know, a connection with. And a
I don't know,
character,
dude.
Of course, I mean, she looked amazing.
I made this so long ago.
So Samus from Other M, a very underrated.
I love that
female
shelf
character,
setup
in my
I had
opinion.
at that time.
I really enjoyed her in that game, and definitely my number 2 crush. You know, those early 20s, I was like, yo, I need a chick like Samus. So definitely Samus. And number 1.
Who the fuck is number 1?
We're gonna have to go with Metal Gear Solid 3 and Eva. I mean, let's look at some things here. Eva was an amazing character. First and foremost,
hey, Jordan.
She was a badass. She would take a motorcycle and run it up your body and do a backflip, shoot you, infiltrate the KGB or, you know, Khrushchev's people, and just awesome character. Just an awesome character. That perfect balance. You know, a lot of people feel like, you know, women are overly sexualized in games, and they probably are to some extent. But I think Eva was that perfect balance of, you know, sexualization for the dudes, but a lot of empowerment as well, because she was a super strong character. I mean, she was just amazing. I loved her from the second I met her. And it's kind of weird because my top 2 picks are both, you know, blonde, and in real life I'm more attracted to brunettes. But I don't know, something about Eva, just the way she talked, the way she moved, the way she was able to, you know, get her way. And, you know, that's how you could tell she was a strong chick, because she knew that if she used her body, she could get anything she wanted. She could get in as deep as she wanted into any, you know, sort of, you know, mystery and whatnot, and infiltrate armies, and still come out and be like, oh, I'll kick your ass too. So Eva, number 1, Metal Gear Solid 3. I remember falling in love with that character, originally playing that game, and still just my favorite female character of all time for sure. So that is my list of video game crush.
All right. So there you have it, kiddos. Eva. I wouldn't have thought that I went with Eva. I'm surprised I didn't try any, oh, I closed the fucking music out. No, I'd have to approve the claim. Would I make any changes to the list today? I don't think so. I mean, probably. Well, yeah, because we've had more characters come along. And, like, I didn't realize that Eva was number 1. I'd probably go with, like, so we got, like, video game women from wrestling and stuff too. I'm surprised I didn't go down that road with it. That's funny though. What up, Mike B, the game genie? Well, copyright stuff, basically it'll show up in a it'll show up in like a section of YouTube where it's like, this person used your video and do you want to send them a claim? I miss the original May. Like, I understand why they changed her voice in Twin Snakes, but I liked her voice better. I felt like it fit the character better. The original Solid Snake. What up, Mike? Am I gonna buy Evil West? I might wait for a sale on that, though. Honestly, I might wait for a sale on that. I'll wait to see the reviews, and if the reviews are good, I'll pick it up. But oh, nice Respawn. I have watched Shaggy and the Creep Show a few times. Mike, Samurai only likes retro gaming videos. If you do anything else, he gets a little perturbed. Yeah, I love action figures. Old action figures. I actually have one that might be delivered today. I've already gotten my lashes from Samurai, Mike, so it's now your turn. I have some WWF videos, but not a lot. What was the last game I properly finished? Sonic Frontiers. I mean, I didn't play it. I didn't 100% it, but I mean, I beat it. I got the Mask of the Phantasm figure from the movie, carded, of course. I wanted to put it up on my little Batman area. Bro, Pentiment. Ugh. I don't understand it. I know someone, a certain vintage gamer who also goes modern, who picked up that game or downloaded it on Game Pass for like an hour, and he told me, yeah, I deleted it. No names will be mentioned. He may be a British man. So after the third island, there's 4 and 5, but they're kind of different. So you're making good progress. The old intro song, which one? The one from that video? Or the other one? I wish Fatal Frame came out this Halloween instead of 2023. It seems like it's coming out at a weird time. Oh, of course, casual noob gamers. Do I like chicken nuggets? I do. I think McDonald's are the best, though. Like, Burger King is literally like Purdue. It's like they hit up Purdue and they're like, hey, we need some chicken nuggets. This might sound, I don't know, but when it comes to women's body shape, how do you think? So, because I'm a scumbag to some extent, I would say that I have been with everyone, every body type, from crackhead skinny to obese. I mean, you know, different strokes for different folks. I like, you know, some meat, but here we go. I'll save this whole thing. It's about the person. It's about the person inside that I connect with. I do like milkshakes. Oh, Switch Force. Yeah, he hit me up. Oh, Nikita Lyons. Oh my god. Switch Force hit me up before that video went up to say, hey, you know, no beef or anything. I was like, no, dude, it's video games. It's fine. But yeah, like I got no beef with him. Do I watch Happy Console Gamer? I've known Johnny for a very long time. Shut up, Jazz, man. Guess it depends on the person's. I mean, it depends, because, like, you know, to me, there's different types of women. There's women that I'm physically attracted to you. I've met a lot of women that I'm physically attracted to, but there's no way in hell I could date them. One of the girls who passed away a few years ago was a girl that I was extremely physically attracted to, but there was no way I could date her because we were just, you know, two completely different people. She was extremely Southern. She was only like 21 or something, and I was like 31. Back when I lived in North Carolina, so I was like, I can't date you. Like, there's nothing really between us. It's just physical. And then there's people, that you just want to be friends with, and then there's people that you want to have more with. So, it depends. Do I enjoy any simulators? Not really. I mean, sub are good. Samurai, that is cap. That is cap. And I will tell you why. Samurai. Samurai said, the retro community is the best. Everyone is so cool. Cap. 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 The retro community, and I've said this on video, and I'm not afraid to say it, can be some of the most hostile individuals. Well, I mean, she passed away now, Death Roach, but she had demons and stuff. Like, I don't know, man. Like, she had like a secret life going on too. Like, it wasn't a good thing. They could be some of the most horrible people in the world. When I made a couple weeks ago, when I made it's cool, Death Roach. When I made a video on the Sega Saturn, I got somebody shared it into a Sega Saturn Facebook group that I've been on Facebook for years. Oh, okay. You're good, Samurai. But some of that audience, those people were crucifying me, saying shit like, oh, he just picked these games. Was it Saturn or Dreamcast? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was Saturn. It's like, oh, he picked these games out of a hat. He just read an article online and made it into a video. I'm like, do you know who the fuck I am? Like, I still have a very sizable Sega Saturn collection. I got a Sega Saturn as a kid and played it to death. But like, these people are just some of the biggest fucking assholes. And you could ask any retro gaming YouTuber, there's a subsect of the audience that just hates you and hates everything you do and everything about it. And it's just like, okay. I'm sorry you feel that way. No. Like everyone in here is good people. I'm just talking about random people who aren't familiar with me. Because that's the thing. Everyone has an opinion on something that they really don't know anything about. Did I dress up because I think people are watching your channel for news stories? No, the glasses help me with the light that's in here. And the gold chain is because I'm trying to win a car from 1989. Yeah, like it's crazy, dude. Like, and there's a weird mentality where it's like, because you gotta remember, retro gaming, especially on the YouTube side of things, has changed drastically over the past 5 years. 5 years ago, if you were a retro gaming channel and you were showing pickups that you went on to sell, like people like Retro Rick and Phoenix Resale, which, no beef, I like them. They're both good channels. And even Pixel Game Squad, Riff, who I've known for fucking ever. If you made content like that where you were buying stuff for cheap and reselling it, you would be the biggest fucking piece of shit in the world. There would be forum posts about you, fucking men in their mid-30s to mid-40s going crazy about that. But now it's accepted. What happened? What happened with this? When did it become okay? I'm glad it became okay, because at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck how you're making your money. Make your money. Salute to you. Feed your family, pay your bills. But it's just so weird to me. It's so weird to me. And if you, God forbid, you misspeak about something, then you're the devil himself. What up, Rich? Pat and Ann don't like the resellers. But then again, it's like, so you've never sold a video game at a convention? Ann doesn't run a video game store? Patrick, I've seen you at many of conventions. You're selling your books. You're selling some other stuff too, I guess. Yeah, there's shady resellers, there's a difference. And a lot of the things like the WATA stuff was spot on. The Amico stuff was spot on. So I think it's kind of a broad stroke for their sort of thing. But, you know, at the same time, I mean, pretty much everyone has resold something. Like, I've resold things. You know, I had a sizable DS RPG collection. And when I moved, I was like, I don't want to put all of these in a box. I don't want them. And so I found some other games that I've had for a while that I was like, I'm never going to play these. And I sold them for a chunk of change to pay for my moving costs. Oh, Ian doesn't work at Luna anymore? I don't think they like me, so. Yeah, that's why people buy physical. So that, you know, if you get into a situation where you gotta... Oh, Brandon, did I miss something? I'm so sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry, Brandon. Apologies for that. Any predictions on Callisto Protocol Metacritic? I'm going with an 87 for Callisto Protocol. 87. Apologies for that, Brandon. My bad. I was probably in the middle of one of my spiels. But yeah, I'll go with an 87 on that. I think it's going to be a very, very good game. I love the Sega Genesis Mini too. I love it because the library is just so cool. I don't think they've hacked it or anything like that, but think the new Zelda game will look as bad as the new Pokemon game? No. No Nyx gear while you're on the winning streak? I can't wear... No. You can't mess up the winning streak right now. Any change to what I'm wearing, any sort of differentiating piece of Nyx gear, a certain jersey they put on? No. We do not change up anything until it happens. However, the orange beanie has been worn. Did I collab with Good Vibes Gaming? No, I don't think they would want to have me on their channel. Dogs. I'm slightly allergic to cats. Cats have always not liked me. I remember back at my biological father's house where he lived with his mother, the Michael Bolton lady. She had a cat named Cleo. And I was like 5 years old and I was over there and I was looking for Cleo. And she had those couches that had like the flaps on the bottom of them so like you couldn't see what was underneath. And so I was looking for the cat and I lifted up one of the flaps and I was like, Cleo. And she was like, scratched me in the face. I was like, what the fuck? Moved in with my buddy and his family for a few months when I was having some hard financial times. I needed to save some money up. And he had a cat named Abby. And that fucking cat, Jesus fucking, I don't know what I ever did to that cat in another life. That cat hated me. She would come into my room, which was actually my buddy's old sister's room, that I would literally bring girls. I'm like 30 at this point, bringing girls to my friend's parents' house because that's where I was living for a couple months in a pink bedroom. Crazy times. But that cat, dude, he would let it in my room sometimes when he'd head off to work and she would just start scratching me and like dig her nails onto me and like hang on to me. It was fucking crazy. Pecker Dupree was a PlayStation and a Dreamcast guy. Pecker Dupree had a PS1 when I had an N64. He had I remember one time we had this genius idea of putting an N64 into an NES and we had no fucking idea what we were doing. He had an NES and we broke it trying to figure out how to put it in. I don't know what the fuck we were on to think of that. But then he got the Dreamcast. And I remember going to visit him in Georgia. This was after he had moved. And I was fucking blown away by the Dreamcast. I was like, this is the craziest thing ever. Any pointers on what to say in the comments section for game codes for Rainmaker website? I would just be honest. Just be like, hey, you know, you're up and coming. You're trying to grow. You feel like this would help grow. Good publicity. This, that, and the other. Bancaro's good, man. He's a lot better than I thought he was going to be. And all those people who thought that he shouldn't go first look like fucking idiots now. They look fucking stupid as hell because that dude is out there fucking balling. Granted, he's balling on a team where he doesn't have a lot of help. So, you know, are those numbers actually accurate? You know, how would he be on a more successful team? But still, like, that pick looks amazing. And you got Holgram. All right, it's almost dinner time for me, so we're going to wrap it up at 6:15. We got about 10 more minutes. anyone get your final queries in, and we will answer those. Saturn is king. I love the Sega Saturn. I love it to death. Although, I remember one Christmas, my choices were a PlayStation 1, a Sega Saturn, or Virtual Boy. And I picked the Virtual Boy. And I don't regret it. I don't regret it. How much better was the NBA of the 90s? A lot, because it was more physical. You know, I think the problem is the game was called a certain way in the 90s. You knew what you could get away with. You knew what you couldn't get away with. You know, these are grown men in a highly competitive environment with lots of testosterone. So if they start swinging on each other, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, the malice at the palace kind of changed things. But I think the biggest problem with the NBA in the modern era is that's so drastically different from the 90s is, like I said, in the 90s, 80s, whatever, it was called a certain way. No matter who the referee was, you knew what you could do, you knew what you couldn't do. Nowadays, referee crews drastically change from game to game. Some games you could be more physical. Some games you can get away with more stuff. Some games you can't. And the only way to figure out, okay, well, how are they calling the game tonight is to actually start trying these things and see if you get a foul or not. And it's like ridiculous to me. Oh, I still have my Virtual Boy. I have 2 Virtual Boys. Yeah, I'd do a Geeks. I'd do anyone's stream. Just have them hit me up. Well, Game Tucker, at conventions, like, I'm very accessible. So at too many games, I'm usually always by the front of the area because they have like the screen wave table set up right by the entry point. So I'm usually always there unless I'm eating or doing a quick stroll of the floor. Yeah, you can't hand check anymore. It's crazy. It's just, it's so different. And I get it, you know, the players that are playing can accept it, but I feel like the players that are playing now, it's even, and that's another thing, Samurai. Everyone gets along now. You know, everyone gets along now after the game. You're dapping people up. You're hugging them. You're like, oh, let's go out for drinks sometime. Back in the day, your team was your team. It didn't matter if it was the fucking white dude who was a towel boy on your team. If he got into some shit with the other team, you were riding and dying for that motherfucker. The only time the teams came together in harmony and stuff like that was during All-Star break, because you got a bunch of rich dudes with a bunch of money who are, you know, playing basketball in an all-star game. That's where everyone relaxed. The competition wasn't there. So like, I just feel like, you know, it's cliche to say it got softer, but it's just like, I guess the younger generation of player. I mean, I've gotten in fist fights with my friends. I got in a fist fight with Pecker Dupree when we were fucking wrestling for the Michael Shawn Federation, MSF, on his trampoline, and he hit me too hard, and we just started swinging on each other. What happened? Did we stop becoming friends? No. Fucking the kid Joe, who was like the big dude, this big black dude who played football. He moved into Pecker Dupree's neighborhood, so we always used to hang out with him, and we were fucking wrestling once, and he poked me in the eye, and I said, Joe, don't poke me in the eye again. And he poked me in the eye again. We started throwing fists. What happened? We were like, all right, we got that out of our system. And then, you know, we were hanging out again. Like, sometimes you just got to get something out of your system, you know? Miss Click usually just streams over on Twitch, Dwad. Sometimes she, fucking exchanging jerseys, signing jerseys. Get that bullshit out of here. Middle school fight. Bro, we had a middle school fight club because it was the NWO Wolfpack versus the NWO Black and White. And this, like, I don't think I could put into words how serious this shit was. I remember there was this Hispanic kid who was like part Hispanic, part Native American. His name was Jamie, and Jamie was a spy for us because we were NWO Red and Black, and we were going up against the NWO Black and White. And Jamie was literally getting jumped by the NWO in the hallway, and we all ran up in there because they found out he was betraying them. I remember throwing people down a flight of stairs for our colors. Okay, we did this one thing in the middle because me and Pecker Dupree came up with this amazing idea. We were like, yo, all right, here's what we're gonna do. we're gonna fake that we split. All right, that you are joined. Oh no, was it me or him that was joined? I think it was me. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna act like I'm joining the black and white. I'm gonna wear a black and white t-shirt to class, and under it, I'm gonna have the red and black on there. And he was like, yeah, do it. So we're in English class, Miss Showalter's English class in 8th grade, and I had the black and white colors on. Everyone thought, you know, we were beefing and shit. And so like the whole class was like quiet, and we were throwing jabs at each other back and forth, like verbal jabs. The teacher was getting all pissed off. And then in the middle of class, I got up, I stood up on my desk, and I was like, I can't take it anymore. And I ripped the shirt, and I had the red and black underneath. And we went over there and we did the wolf pack sign to each other. We both got sent into the principal's office, and we had in-school detention for the rest of the day. But it was so fun. Like, we would literally beat the fuck out of black and white people, and black and white people would beat the fuck out of us because we were red and black. But it was like we were all friends. Like, we would beat each other up. You know, there'd be bruises and black eyes and, you know, injured ligaments, but like it wasn't like serious, but it was serious. It was the funniest shit, man. I remember we went to Best Buy and they had the WCW VHS tapes. Sting Behind the Mask was one of them. Macho Man Behind the Madness was another. So he bought the Macho Man and I bought the Sting one. And that Sting one, we must have watched that thing a million times. Fuck Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller, I hate horses, NASA, and Reggie Miller. Those are my 3 hated things in the world. Richard Jefferson's the top 10 too, because he's just a clown. But Reggie Miller is I remember watching that game where he ruined the Knicks and he scored all those points. Was it like 9 points in 30 seconds? And we were at the bowling alley. Because my parents were in a bowling league. And I was sitting there watching that game, watching my heart get crushed, watching my dreams and my aspirations go down the toilet to make me into the monster that I am today. Because of Reggie Miller. I love you too, Transplant Life. Yeah, we were stupid with the fucking black and white stuff, that WO stuff. It was fun though. It was fun. Like, you didn't care. You're a fucking kid. When you're a kid, you're invincible. You were invincible. You could fucking get injured. It didn't matter. It's the worst that's gonna happen to you. I remember Pecker Dupree. He had some people roll up on him once though, over a girl. Some of the older kids. Because me and him were very, like, fuck the world type people. Like, if you liked us, great. If you didn't like us, fuck you. And we were talking on the phone one night. He lived, like, 1.5 miles away. And he was like, yo, I gotta go. Some people are rolling up here. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I ran out into the living room. I'm like, pleading with my parents. I'm like, drive me over there. Something's about to go down. I need to be there. We're gonna fight. And so his mom ended up calling over to my mom ended up calling over to the house to see what was going on. Like, this group of kids that we didn't really like. Some of them were freshmen in high school. Some of them were in 8th grade with us. They just rolled up on his house, like threatening him and shit. So the ones that were in 8th grade, next day, I remember we were in the hallway and one of them bumped into me, and me and Pecker Dupree were walking. And one of them bumped into me and I was like, fuck this. And I just threw my book bag down. I was like, let's fucking go. And like this big crowd started gathering around us. But I think that's the one thing. This is how we're going to wrap things up here, is when it comes to bullies. People say, you know, the bullies, in my opinion, are always going to be a part of life. There's always going to be people who try to bully you, or bully someone. The thing about bullies is 9.9 times out of 10, if you stand up to them and you show them, I don't give a fuck. No matter what age you are in life, there's always going to be people that bully you. There's people where you're like, you know, and they're bothering you, and one day you're just like, you know what? I don't care. Do what you want to do. You're going to do something? You talk a lot of shit, but are you actually going to do something? Then do it. When you stand up to them, most of the time they back down. And as someone who constantly, throughout his whole life, moved from school to school and was always the new kid, I had a lot of bullies. And I always just went with that mantra. I always just I always just went, show him the tire iron. Haggis would break out the tire iron. Haggis did not care. But I mean, that's just how it was. Like, I remember when I was a sophomore, this group of kids in high school, because I would get rides from this girl who lived in my neighborhood, and one of those guys in the group was like trying to date her, and they thought that I was trying to date her, which I was, because she was hot as shit, but it wasn't really like that. And one day I remember we're in the courtyard and they surrounded me, like 9 or 10 of them, and I just threw my bags down. I was like, let's go. If you want to do this. You want to punch me in the face? Punch me in the face. I'm not throwing the first punch, but you better finish this fucking job. So like a couple of them like took like ghost shots at me like they were gonna punch me, and I just stood there. And then eventually they walked away. And the funniest thing is, those people ended up becoming some of my best friends in high school, because they were just like, you didn't back down. And I was like, no. They're like, you're fucking crazy. I was like, I'm not crazy. I'm just, you know, if you're gonna do something to me, do something to me. If you're not gonna do something to me, then just shut the fuck up. And then we ended up becoming friends. So they were like, okay, well, this is a guy that we want to, you know, we want him on our side. Like, fuck, if he's, you know, don't cause trouble, but end it. Don't start no shit, there won't be no shit. But if you're starting the shit, there's gonna be shit. No, I won't back down. All right, folks, we went a minute extra. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Very enjoyable stream. Make sure you go check out the videos over on the channel. Catch up with the controversy. Yeah, stand your ground, man. Always stand your ground. What's the worst thing that's gonna happen to you? Well, I don't know. Nowadays, every fucking kid's got a gun or something. It was a lot different back then. Be smart about it. Be smart about it. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you to all the channel members. You guys are awesome. Thank you to everyone that came through the chat. And thank you to everyone who donated. I sincerely appreciate you guys. I love all you guys. I will see you guys Saturday night for more debauchery. Who knows what's going to pop off this Saturday? Will we get some more breaking news that everyone ends up talking about? We'll see. But just know that Click's story got more mainstream attention than my stories of debauchery. Benefits of being a hottie, Click. I'm just kidding. All right, love you guys.